Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to respond to the speech from the throne in my maiden speech. Mohkinstsis, that's the Blackfoot name for the confluence of the Elbow and Bow rivers, the place we now call Calgary, Madam Speaker. For thousands of years, the confluence was a place to gather, trade, play, and work. But this isn't ancient history. It's where the first people continue to live today. The center of the most dynamic city in Canada is also Mohkinstsis. It is the same place shared. Calgary-Elbow is defined by the Elbow River, from the clear water we wade through in the heat of summer to the appropriately named sandy beach, the reservoir we boat on or golf beside, the vast trail network of the Weasel Head, and then further upstream up to Elbow Falls and Kananaskis and beyond. The Elbow River provides so much of what we love in Calgary. It gives us the water that we drink, and it's a vast study in contrasts. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, that same river which children can raft down on a warm summer day is the river which devastates a city by flood. The trickle that can be forded with dry feet forms the largest lake in Calgary, the wealth on the Elbow's banks side by side with hardship just a few blocks away. Calgary-Elbow is home to a wide variety of gathering spaces and blossoming local businesses. Whether you're taking your children out to Village Ice Cream on a Friday afternoon, grabbing brunch with your family at Our Daily Bread, picking up that book at Owl's Nest, or meeting up with a longtime friend for a pint at Marteloup Brewing, these businesses reinforce a sense of connection, community, and belonging. You can feel this passion and spirit from every corner of the constituency. Calgary-Elbow is split by natural geography in the form of the Elbow River and by human geography as 14th Street Southwest. Everyone knows the eastern half: Mount Royal, Elbow Park, Earlton, Elboya, Britannia, Stanley Park, Park Hill, Meadowlark Park, Bel Air, Mayfair, Rideau Park, Roxborough, Windsor Park. Most of these are amongst the highest income neighborhoods in Calgary. And for the first time in history, they're held by a member of the Alberta NDP. Yeah. How did this happen? How did this happen? Again, the study in contrasts, represented by former premiers Alison Redford and Ralph Klein, PC members, late David Russell, Gordon Dirks. In the death throes of the old PC party that doesn't exist anymore came political diversity. Liberal Craig Cheffins, Greg Clark, the only Alberta Party member to hold a seat in this House. Doug Schweitzer with the UCP, me with the Alberta NDP. 5 parties represented Calgary-Elbow since 1971. Calgary-Elbow voters look at their options. They're incredibly politically aware. They vote for candidates, not just party, and they hold their representatives accountable. On the west side of 14th Street Southwest, middle class, working class, and professionals live side by side in some of my favorite parts of Calgary. Marteloup, South Calgary, Altadore, Garrison Woods, North Glenmore Park, Lincoln Park, Glamorgan, Garrison Green. Apartment blocks side by side with heritage homes, a wealth of pubs around the corner, the best coffee shops in Calgary, free-range beef, orchard-picked fruit, organic grocery stores, and some very good Indian restaurants. Mr. Speaker, Calgary-Elbow holds some of the best that Calgary has to offer. I'm honored to have been entrusted to represent and serve the hard-working constituents of these vibrant communities. I could not have done this alone. I was joined by a committed team of volunteers passionate about bringing fair representation to this remarkable constituency. Many of them, such as Frank, Andrea, Karen, Leslie, Lise, Kitty, Alexia, and Jerry, dedicated many of their evenings, weekends, and holidays to supporting me and the rest of our team. To everyone who took the time to knock on doors, make calls, or put up signs, you helped us bring real change to Calgary-Elbow, and I thank you. A lot of people in Calgary-Elbow built their businesses and made their fortunes in oil and gas, an industry that's been so good to our nation, our province, our city, my family, and to me personally. And yes, there's oil and gas, but there's also renewable energy, carbon capture, software, gaming, video production, amongst others, including, above all, so many healthcare workers. These sectors, including oil and gas, power our economic growth now and into the future. And you'll find it in Calgary-Elbow. My parents arrived in Canada in 1967 and 1969. I'm Hindu. My mother tongue is Marathi. I know the city of Mumbai well. And Calgary-Elbow voters chose me to represent them because, in a way, I also carry a piece of Calgary-Elbow within me. I went to engineering school just across the river here at the University of Alberta, went to the States for my MBA, worked there for a while, and then I came back. I worked at a firm that advised large investors such as large pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, university endowments. I was an expert on energy economics, from oil sands to pipelines to nuclear powers to solar farms. I'm an immigrant success story, like so many of those who live in Calgary-Elbow. I came back with my new American wife because we both believed that Alberta was the best place in the world to raise a family. No matter what happened to us, our kids would get high-quality first-class education and have great access to good health care. This is how Calgary-Elbow looks at the world. Make some money, build a business, work hard. All that is good. And pay it forward. Help those with less. Build a better city, a province, and country by building everyone up. Work together, solve problems, be practical, don't take unnecessary risks, stay even-keeled, and above all, celebrate diversity and include LGBTQ citizens fully in our democracy and treat all humans as humans. These attitudes and mindset, the temperament for seeking compromise and win-win solutions, helped me a lot in my business career. Calgary-Elbow voters noticed, and I'm so incredibly grateful that they gave a short, introverted, four-eyed child of immigrants a chance to represent them. And we have a lot of challenges in Calgary-Elbow, Madam Speaker, from a low-quality education curriculum to healthcare workers burning out. We have a large Jewish population which has contributed immensely to Calgary and Alberta, and who are at this moment seeing rising anti-Semitism and feeling deep sorrow from losing their loved ones to an act of terror perpetrated by Hamas. Rising Islamophobia impacts people in Calgary-Elbow. Many people are pained by the death of innocents in the Gaza war. Closer to home, infrastructure has not kept up with population growth, leading to snarled streets and overflowing schools. Children in ever larger class sizes are unable to achieve their potential. Throughout my time thus far as the MLA for Calgary-Elbow, I've seen the impacts of reckless cuts, poor oversight, and the mismanagement of services by the UCP government. I hear from my constituents about the struggles they face with securing and receiving AISH payments. I've listened to stories of wait times for life-altering procedures such as hip, knee replacements, keeping formerly healthy, happy people housebound or even bedridden. I've heard the concerns from my constituents about the uncertainty of securing their pension, whether they have worked their lives to receive it or find themselves entering the workforce with a sense of unpredictability for their future. But above all, Calgary-Elbow is the tip of the housing crisis spear. Just last week, I spoke to the media with two constituents, senior citizens, who have to come up with a 50% higher rent or leave their homes. 40% of Calgary-Elbow households rent their homes in the top 5 of Calgary ridings. With increased costs and higher interest rates, challenges building new supply, and an ever-increasing number of new residents fleeing even worse housing challenges across Canada, I've spoken to so many people who feel choiceless, helpless, and alone in their misery. To those of my constituents who are struggling with housing, I want you to know this: you are my top priority. The scale of the problem is vast. 100,000 people move to Alberta annually right now. 60% of them move to Calgary. That means building 25,000 units of housing annually in Calgary alone. In all of Alberta, we only build 33,000 units. We aren't keeping up with the new flow of current residents, let alone the housing backlog. Doing business in Canada is harder than it needs to be, Madam Speaker, whether it's building pipelines, expanding oil sands production, standing up a solar panel, or even building a basic human need, shelter. We Canadians have failed to build big things. People in Calgary-Elbow understand this. They are pro-development, pro-business, and pro-environment. They want to see practical solutions to our challenges, and they know the importance of good government and sound public policy is to solve problems. There's a lot of work that needs to be done over the next 4 years. We need to be supporting the needs of everyday Albertans while creating an environment that welcomes investment and promotes economic growth. We need to ensure that our children have the same opportunities that we once did, that We need to support the hardworking seniors who spent their years of their life building the Alberta we know today. We're not there right now. It took years to get us to where we are today. It will take years to dig ourselves out of this hole. But, Madam Speaker, the people of Alberta can count on the people of Calgary-Elbow to do the hard work. We will create a better future for this province. Thank you.